So our travel trailer came with a vent, the most basic and cheapest kind that has no fan. We wanted to upgrade to one with a fan to help with ventilation, especially when it's hot, and would let a little light into the main area of our trailer. So we were looking into the maxxAir fans, which has a way to go with pulling air and pushing air, as well as having a thermostat and this unique open-close design. So we asked Eddie Glonek at mobilehomesteading.com to do the install for us. This one was fairly straightforward because there was an optional power cord for DC power, as well as an existing hole in the roof. So our travel trailer shipped with a TV antenna that was already mounted on the roof, which is something we never use. And since there's already a hole in the roof, we decided possibly this could be a location for another maxxAir fan. Of course, there's not a hole in the roof the size of a fan or vent, so we needed some help. So once again, we contacted Eddie for the job. After removing the directional controls for the TV antenna, Eddie did some exploration with a long drill bit to be sure there were no frame pieces or obstructions in this area. What we were trying to determine is how much room we had for the fan that would not obstruct the channels for the AC that you see, those ducts on either side, as well as being sure we had enough room for the fan and the backing of the fan, which extends 8 inches. After determining that this was an open area, Eddie crawled up onto the roof to remove the top of the antenna. Once that was clear, we were able to take a look inside and notice that there is actually power already available. Here, Eddie is making some exploratory cuts away from the hole to determine that there is indeed no frame in the way, making sure there's a clear path for the fan box, which is about 14 by 14. As you can see in this picture, the opening extends past the fan box. So Eddie needed to measure to be sure that the extension would not interfere with the already existing AC box. After determining that there was no obstructions and plenty of room for the fan plus the extension of the opening, Eddie measured out a fan box and cut with a drill a hole on each 4 corners for positioning the cuts on the roof. Made his careful inside cuts to try to be sure to not cut any existing power cables, and then exposed the roof past the plywood, which, as you can see, is basically just made of cooler foam and plywood. After completing the inside cutaway, Eddie then went to his corner holes that he had pre-measured, created a fan box shape template on the top of the roof, and started cutting. After cutting away and clearing off the cooler foam, you can see 2 DC wires as well as speaker wire and the old antenna coax. Now things were about to get really messy because Eddie highly recommended that we build a frame box around the area to make this fan hole, because the roof is extremely flimsy, and making a box frame would ensure that the connection would be tight and there would be no warping on the ceiling. So he chipped carefully away sections of the foam, but was careful to not connect into the existing AC channels. Then stapling the plywood from the top and the bottom back into the fan hole. After cutting and reconnecting and rerouting the DC wire, speaker wire, and then getting DC positive and negative from the existing wire, Eddie then completed the frame with a notch, allowing the fan to get power. Here the fan is temporarily dropped in for positioning, and then the bottom frame needed to be cut to size so that it would snug in the correct thickness of our roof. At this point, it was time to put the bottom trim piece in place, screw down the fan, and then seal the fan properly, in which Eddie used putty tape, the Turn-A-Bond, as well as die-core. It was a very difficult job, very time-consuming, and very messy, and I'm grateful for Eddie's expertise. He did a fantastic job, and the fan is working as expected.